Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy JT Thomas III and my man one, Royal A. Sheffield.
Royal. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed. Yes, indeed.
yeah. On the fifth episode of Bulletin Board Material. And just bringing it to y'all, man, live, raw. Uh, and giving y'all that good game, right? And for us, man, it's really all about reps right now. Uh, Roy, man, talk to the people, give them a little something to get them going today.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to be back for episode 5. Looking forward to seeing how we grow from here. Definitely got some ideas floating around between the both of us on how we can expand this, how we can make it better, and just looking to make sure that we put up shots so that when this thing finally does blow, we're ready for that opportunity. So shout out to JT for being consistent. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in, and shout out to us.
Yeah, man. And even like with today, right? Just getting on for us sometimes, right? You might have a little adversity, man, but I learned this from my good coach, Gus Bradley, man. He talked about treating success and adversity the same, like treating those two imposters the same. So that's what we're gonna do here today and get right on into things today. And man, we're starting to open this thing up a little bit to where yeah, but we love the high school and college football, man. But we'll discuss a few different things today, man. Get some taste from y'all and see what y'all think about it. First and foremost, man, we got the Florida High School Football State Championships. They just finished up this past weekend. And congrats are in order to several of our Broward County and South Florida high schools. Another state championship for St. Thomas. Another for Chaminade. Teddy Bridgewater wins his first state championship at Miami Northwestern. That's great. West Boca, a team that's maybe less than 30 minutes from my home here in Palm Beach County. One of those newer teams on the map, man. Really got a team full of kids from Pompano and Delray Beach, and now they kicking some butt, at the state championship level. So, congrats to them as well too. Yeah, man, I think that just confirms something that we spoke about in maybe one of our other discussions, bro. Just talking about how Florida football, especially high school football, that we're pretty much in the SEC of high school football down here in South Florida, and we reign supreme as far as football competition go. How do you feel about that, Roy?
I think it shows a couple of things. So like St. Thomas winning another state championship, like the consistency, like these programs have legacy here. So you got that kind of angle going from there. And then Teddy being able to kind of get Northwestern back into the state conversation in a year, like in his first year as the coach, turn that program around, like has one of the most explosive offenses in the country, I believe, and got like a pretty big receiver. I think his name Calvin something or another down there. But they got it.
Yeah.
They got a good kid down there.
That boy Gump.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's just like the start for like you see a lot of these programs continuing their tradition, and you see in some of them like for Northwestern, that's just the start. Like they can go right back to how they were when Teddy was there, like a perennial contender for the state title. But it just also goes to show like how much work, especially like concentrated in South Florida, like how much work some of these teams have to make sure that their name is in those same lights. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about them every time. Our beloved Blanchard High School Tigers, like great season that they had this year, but there's another level that they can get to. And there's another level that they have to get to if they hope to achieve the ultimate goal. So, like, shout out to the teams that won. Like, shout out to the work that the boys put in. And shout out to the team that's coming for their head next season. So like all y'all teams, y'all seen what it takes to win the championship, and hopefully like that resonated with a lot of players, and they take that next step so that their name can be talked about, on our show next year.
For sure, like a West Boca, they definitely won't sneak up on anyone next year, right? Or even like guys like Teddy, for that matter, like they'll get even more of a shot from guys and kids and schools in Miami that want to knock them off at the end of the day.
You think Teddy snuck up on people this year?
I think that people don't believe it until it actually happens. Like, and now it's like, okay, y'all the top dog. Let me try to knock y'all off. You know what I mean?
I feel like his name being associated with his old high school came with a lot of pomp and circumstance. So I agree with you that there was some skepticism about whether or not they can actually get the job done. But I mean, look, the proof is in the pudding. And I
Right.
guess that
He's saying Teddy them definitely shouldn't have caught anybody by surprise.
I don't think Teddy should have caught nobody by surprise,
Yeah.
NFL quarterback, but he might have. Like he might have caught some people by surprise, but like I don't want to attribute like his success to that. Like I think Teddy is a damn good coach, and like especially like for a first year coach, like I think he did a really good job with that team. He got some of them guys on the map. He won a state title. Like so, shout out to Teddy.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Chaminade, probably one of my favorite schools down here, because as private as that is of a school, a lot of times a lot of our inner city kids will find their way to Chaminade or all of the private schools for that matter. I got my boy Tyler Tate down there doing some great things. Coach Damon or Damien, that is doing a great job. They're consistently putting kids out, as in anytime, even more than the wins. The wins are great, and they were battle tested this year. They were like 1-2 to start the season, right, with us knocking them off.
Yeah.
But I knew from that moment forward that they would be a much better ball club just from falling to us. So yeah, it was cool to see them battle back and have the kind of year that they would have hoped to have. Obviously, when you're playing 1 or 2A ball, maybe not as thick of competition on your route to state. But they definitely play enough competition during the year to earn my respect and the others down here. So they never duck any smoke for that matter. So yeah,
Chaminade is another one of those schools who falls in the list, kind of like with St. Thomas, with a lot of lineage, because they go back as far as putting guys like John Beeson, you know what I mean, in good positions. And I mean, for a lot of people who don't know who that man is, like you might know him as a linebacker, but back at Chaminade, he was a running back and a linebacker. So, like, do some homework
I
with that
know
man.
what you
That man was
mean. Yeah,
about
I
to
play
say,
with B.
yeah,
Yeah, I play
yeah.
with B. All the way back to my cousin. He's lesser known, but like just one of my family members, Xavier Fluellen. Like they were playing some good ball back then, where I didn't even know what a Chaminade was. You
You got
know,
some Fluellas in your family?
we all cousins down here, bro. We
Hey,
all.
man.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's good to see them perform at a high level consistently. I remember when my buddy Tyler was bringing a few kids from, I think there was some kids from either Miami Garden Ravens or maybe both, from the Miami Garden Ravens and from the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes. Little worm who came through. It was probably like 3 or 4 of them. Like our kids kind of come in bunches, right? They kind of play with their age groups, and then they come in. And to me, I think if they're not changing the program, they're directly responsible for their success, right? Like you don't see a major right on the bench of a St. Thomas, right? Like to where
Right.
they do a good job at attracting our kids, recruiting our kids, right? And they usually get them a pretty good chance to succeed. But it ain't nothing that we shouldn't be able to do and predict that our own programs in our black communities and should have that same kind of excellence and success. So that's the goal, bro. One of our goals this year, Ely, our first goal was to win a state championship because you and I know from being in school when we actually won a state championship, it does have a tremendous impact on your life, right? To where everyone in school gets a chance to have a better experience from being a part of something special.
Yeah.
Whether it was the boys winning state in basketball or Kenny Boynton them winning states or us winning states in football or Kenny Boynton them winning states in basketball. Um, so all the way when I made it to college, we were winning games. Our basketball team went to the Final Four. Like the way your sports teams compete, to me, have a direct impact on how your school performs. For that matter, I bet attendance
It
is up when you
definitely
got to win it. I bet attendance is up when you got to win a record.
I, there's definitely like an elevation in kind of like school morale when you know that you have one of the better sports teams in the area for sure. Like nobody can tell us anything about football the year after we won the state title. You know what I mean? Like we were the champs, and you walk around with a certain like cachet, and your school has that prestige associated with it when you have good sports programs. So I think it does. It's to the benefit of the school to kind of like invest within reason to make sure that their teams are at least competitive. And we have just like the good, I don't know if it's good or bad fortune of being in a very competitive area where we're competing for kids. So I don't know how reasonable it is for like public schools to compete with like what private schools are able to provide in some regards. But you are going to get the bulk of the students, and out of those students, there's a wealth of talent. So I believe like you're going to what you naturally get is enough to equip you for success. In that regard, it just takes for like the school to get behind these programs and just kind of give them that extra little push that they need at times.
Yeah. And I try to keep it on, on football, and then just take it on up to the next level in the sense of, we've had a chance to experience the high school playoffs. Man, this college football playoff thing is going to be its own deal. But we touched on this briefly last time that we spoke, and we spoke a little bit about the transfer portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk a little bit about like kids or our student athletes competing at the high level, but also having to deal with the changing environment of being associated with a program, right? So we have kids jockeying for spots right now in the transfer portal, right, that are leaving the college football playoffs to go play for another team, right? Right now the schedule's all jacked up to where the portal's open before the college football season is done. So, like Penn State's backup quarterback just, got paid maybe $1 million or so to be a quarterback at another club. And, someone's going to have to step in to where it's either going to have to be the NCAA. The schools are going to either have to govern themselves, or it's going to have to be a commissioner of some sort that regulates athletes' ability to go from, because it's going from the players not having any leverage to every year being a free agency year. And I think that's almost too much freedom, right? What do you think about this transfer portal schedule, this NIL, like this chaos that's going on in college football?
So with college football, there used to be something called like the recruiting season, where there was a specific period of time where coaches had to dedicate their entire workday to recruiting. With the transfer portal, like there's no timeline. So like they're recruiting in season. They're recruiting year round now. So like that's an added development in terms of the coaching. And it just like how is the team supposed to focus on the college football playoffs when you're worried about losing? And let's take Oklahoma, for example. Oklahoma lost their whole goddamn wide receiver room to the transfer portal. Like it's just it's an added stress on programs out there. And the NCAA, they don't have a commission; they have a president, right? Like Charlie Baker. So they have a president for the NCAA. But I think you're right that that's with the way that this is moving towards a professional model. Whereas like players are not this is free agency. This isn't a transfer portal because the transfer where you transfer is dictated by the finances of the school that you're transferring to. Like it's dictated by this NIL money. How much can I get? It's kind of like the mentality here. And so you need to have a commissioner in place so that you can have rules and regulations to structure this program. Like otherwise, like you run the risk of ruining college football with this.
I mean, let's say you're the backup running back for, I don't know, LSU, right?
Yeah.
And well, let's use a college football playoff team. Let's say you're Ashton Jeanty's backup.
Okay.
Right. And you have a 7-figure deal on the table for you to potentially be a back at another college. Are you playing in that college football playoff game, or are
Absolutely.
you straight away with your new team and your new deal?
I'm going to my new team with my new deal because even Ashton Jeanty, like there's no incentive for him to play. I'm going to the NFL. All right. So customarily, if Ashton Jeanty decides to not play, then this is where the backup's opportunity comes. But now I got a 7-figure deal at another school. I'm not playing. I am no longer a Boise State Bronco. I am now an Arkansas Razorback. That's where I go. And so, like, whoever. So now you put Boise State in a position where they run the ball all the time. So now, but now you're going, instead of your second guy, you're going to your third guy. Because your second guy goes.
I'm no longer associated with this, bro.
No. I just got free tickets to be here. That's why I'm here.
Right.
But I am a Arkansas Razorback.
Say you at the team dinner like, hey y'all boys, I got it. Like the bill.
I just want to say thank you to the team, for all y'all have done for me.
Say, actually, I'm gonna take care of this bill. I got y'all on the bill, but
hey, brother, we finna slide.
It's a new day and age, man. I mean, the kids are under immense pressure. Like, we think about the programs, and like people are like, "Woe is me" for the programs, right? But the kids are in a tough spot, man. Like, you got to choose between your Lambo truck, like, and competing, like finishing what you started.
But also, like, and then that, like, even still, like, how does this in the long term, like, how does this impact kind of like draft stock? Like, how do GMs view kids? You made this point a couple weeks ago. Like, how do GMs view a kid who's moved from, started at USC, then went to LSU, didn't quite work out, then went to a third school, like DJ Ukulele.
Figured out by the second school. I almost don't want to see. I give you two.
Okay, I'm about to say 3 is generous.
Third school, I probably don't want to see. It ain't the schools no more.
No.
Yeah, like, as in, you're a bad decision maker. And this is what.
But are you though? Like, you put a child in a position where it's like, school 2 paid me, and then when school 2 wasn't gonna pay me, school 3 offered to pay me. But after I got paid from school 1, I became the breadwinner for my family.
Or it's like, okay, I picked up my 50 bag at Alabama, and I picked up a ring there, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go transfer down to like Colorado and pick up a 250 bag.
You know what I'm saying? But like, if my draft stock drops because of that, like, I don't perform at Colorado, but my name's still ringing in a couple of circles where I could drop down to maybe an Alcorn State and go get me 100 more. Like, I know, like, that hurts them in the eyes of a GM, but like, this is the kind of like the snowball effect of like NIL, whereas like you've made them breadwinners, and now they're in a position where they're kids, bro. You hand a kid $250 million, first thing you're gonna do is blow it on like friends and family. You know what I mean? Like, but people getting to rely on that. Like, it's a tough situation for kids.
I mean, and don't let me have no responsibilities. Like, don't let me have a kid. Don't let me have no. At that point, like, it ain't even me making the decision. Like,
it's life.
Yeah. And then what I think what happens is the kids end up, because the colleges and universities always get the benefit of the doubt. They almost don't ever lose their fan base, right? But now you're putting the kid in a situation where, they can be painted into something that they're not, just for making the best decision that was there for them, and especially under the schedule that we're under right now. So I will say
we get run by the machine, bro. Like, the NCAA is a business, and it's a ruthless one too. Like, and like, when they put these restraints on the kids, like, it may seem unfair to them because of the way that like the precedent has been set for them to make unlimited amounts of NIL money or whatever. But like, when they put these restraints, like, I think it helps the kids. It might stop some of the flow of the money. But like, I think it helps them just kind of like protect themselves for like future, like that. It's out of hand right now, and they can't keep running it like this.
Yeah, and that takes me to our next subject. Kind of in the same vein, we're gonna stay with college football. How do you feel about Mike Vick, man, over at Norfolk State?
I love it. I love it, man. Like, anytime you get these prominent names to come to HBCUs, like I am all for it. And a name like Michael Vick, bro, in the state of Virginia, bro, you can't get no bigger than that. That's your home state. So I think that gives him a legitimate chance to kind of do some special things with that program. Do I believe he's taking the Deion route and using this HBCU to kind of get his feet wet in the world of coaching so he can inevitably move on to a bigger program?
Blueprint.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think it will work? Yes, I do. I think Michael Vick can have success there as a coach. One thing you're not going to convince me, you can't say he don't know football. So that won't be the issue there. I think him learning how to recruit, him being able to kind of like ingratiate himself in Virginia community so that he can get the kids that he can get, the local kids, build a program from the state. Like, I think that's a good formula, but I think he just copy and paste what Deion did, brother. Like, try and get you one of them big names to flip, and then use that success, parlay that into success for that ball club. But I like it, bro. I like Vick coming back to the HBCU world.
And there's difference for one. I think it's a great move. Well, out the gate, did you see what Sac State offered him?
No.
Sac State offered him something crazy to where it definitely had to be like a passion thing for him to want to be at Norfolk State, right? And then he's from that Virginia area. Yeah. I think that's important, very important, right? From where he grew up to being a Hokie, I think all those things will play well into him being situated right there in Virginia. He's going to be able to do a lot for the community. My boy Leroy Reynolds is from Norfolk. I've even heard of my buddy Terrence Garvin, who coaches. Maybe thinking of joining them as well. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out. But he won't have to be a trailblazer, right? To where the blueprint has been laid out. But it's two different ways you can take that, right? Deion ended up taking it to Gloria. You want to be in the podcast so bad, don't you? I said Deion took it to the next level, to the D1 level, right? And then a guy like Eddie George ended up taking things to Tennessee State.
Tennessee State, yeah.
And that's a perfect alignment from him coming from the Titans, and he's done a lot of good things in that state. I think he's playing a more long-term, hey, I'm gonna do it at this level for a long time, approach, where Deion kind of took it up a notch. Either way, all those things will be there for Michael Vick.
I do. If I'm going to pick one of the two routes, I think Vick takes the Deion route as opposed to the long-term Virginia coach thing. Like, I understand, like, Vick has the certain like name cachet in the same realm as the Deion Sanders. I know Eddie George is a great football player in his own right, but I don't think like you got teams. I don't think his name buzzes in the same way that a Michael Vick does. You know what I mean? So like naturally it's going to buzz for Norfolk State, but I think if jobs open up at a higher level, if he has success here in Norfolk, then his name will buzz at the next level. I'm interested to see like what is he looking for from like his quarterback? Like how do you think he's trying to recruit? You think he's trying to recruit one of him? You think he's trying to recruit a more traditional?
First of all, if he's looking for another Michael Vick, he's probably won't find. But I think he'll be able to bring unique insight to that program and to whoever is able to be coached by him. He's going to see the game in a way that most people don't. He's been coached by Andy Reid. He's been coached by Mike Tomlin. Like, these are, some of the best coaches in the game. And I think only a few people have a chance to be as white hot as Michael Vick was in ball to where I think only, like a Moss, Deion, like to where people hit this white hot space, bro, to where, it changed the way you feel about the game. And I think that stays in the hearts and minds of fans. Like when you make a play on that field, you end up etching your brand into someone's memory. And I think that will take Vick and the program a long way if they're able to harness all those.
Well, first of all, like every black quarterback that you see in the league today is like from the Vick tree. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like
Well, I don't know
he
now.
is
You got some OGs out there too. Now you got the Randall
like
Cunningham.
Russ.
Well, no, like that's why I say you got the Randall Cunninghams of the world, the Steve McNairs of the like.
Yeah, I get it, but they wasn't Vick, and these quarterbacks now are not trying to emulate Donovan McNabb out there. That's not what Lamar Jackson is. Like he's not. He's Vick. Like like I do agree that there are some other models out there, but the most imitated version is Michael Vick. And I think the way that he resonated, particularly with the black community during like his rise to Atlanta thing or whatever, he might be able to recruit Georgia really well. I do think that he should focus on Virginia because I do think there's talent in Virginia. So I think he wants to focus on it. Yeah, I think he wants to focus in Virginia, but I also think he's gonna need to, travel a little bit to get some dynamic players. You know what I mean? Get some playmakers out there, and I think Georgia may be a good start for him. Like you can find some good players down there in Georgia. And your name does ring loudly in that state. So I think Vick should use that to his advantage. But I'm interested to see like what route he decides to take. Like he knows more about football than I ever will. But I'm happy that he's bringing his talents to an HBCU, especially a conference that my alma mater used to play in. But yeah, just happy to see that.
And the HBCUs need the love, man. Like, even with the whole thing where, like you mean to tell me that there ain't one kid out of HBCU that should be drafted every like we can't get one draft pick out of HBCU. Sometimes it feel like the league be trying to send a message to keep their loyalty and ties to some of the more well-branded PWIs, and it's a shame because it makes it'll make a kid feel like that they can't accomplish their dream at the HBCU level. I mean, even for Travis to go on and win the Heisman, and I'll save some of that discussion, I think is big for HBCUs in the sense of recognizing that, hey, I played against that kid and we beat them at the HBCU level. Like I think that's important for kids to see, okay, that same group of kids went on to compete at a high level at a major D1 school as well too. You can't tell me that our athletes aren't as good as maybe some of the bigger institutions. And I'm hoping that Mike, Dion, other guys could continue to change the narrative when it comes to our historically black colleges and universities when it comes to football.
I never really thought about like the NFL having an agenda against HBCUs, but now that you say it, like in a lot of respects, like these bigger PWIs do a lot of the marketing work for the NFL. So like it's going to tie into another topic that we're going to speak about a little bit later. But the reason why the NFL is such a good product is because by the time a lot of these players are stars by the time, or beloved figures by the time they reach the NFL, based on their college careers. Like, and people are immortalized for their college careers. So like there's a certain level of like fame and recognition that comes with being able to see some of your favorite players from college translate to have success at the next level. It's part of the problem with basketball right now. Like, and we'll dive into that, but like, yeah, like that may be why the NFL kind of leans into the PWI thing. HBCUs just don't have the same level of marketability because they don't have the same access to funding from boosters and whatnot as some of these bigger universities. So a lot of the NFL's legwork is done for them with the notoriety of players prior to entering the league at the bigger schools.
Yeah. And just segue in, man, as we talk a little college football, we talk about, not only excellence at the HBC levels, but the bigger institutions. And then we talk briefly about a guy like Travis, right, winning the Heisman Trophy, right? So let's talk a little Travis Hunter Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about the kid, Roy?
I feel like he absolutely deserved the award. Look, I understand Ashton Genty put up phenomenal numbers. Like no one can argue his production from the season. But he also got the ball 300 times. Like it's like their whole offense was built around giving him the ball. And so, like, yes, shout out to him for being able to stay healthy. you know what I mean, and put up the numbers to justify getting that many carries. But even with that being said, Travis played 300-something more snaps than anybody else in college football, bro. And was, dare I say, dominant on both sides of it. You know what I mean? That's something that you just cannot ignore. The stamina that takes for a football player, like the commitment to learning the playbook on both sides of the ball, and just like the ability, like can't leave that out, like the ability to be able to actually go out there and perform at a high level at both of those positions. Shout out to him. He is the best football player in college football. He's the best football player coming up in this draft. Whether or not he's drafted first overall or not, that does not mean a thing to me. That is the best football player that college has to offer. So shout out to Travis Hunter. Well deserved, man.
Now, it was close, man. For me, I will say all those things make sense, what you just said. I think he's a better person than he is a player. I think he's one of the most humble kids that there are out there. It's just in his nature. Like he's a chill kid who likes to fish, likes his girl, likes football. Speaking of his girl, we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. We got to work on that. And don't get me wrong, right? I'm not gonna get deep into his old lake. That's his lake,
Sure,
right?
sure.
But I say that being on the team with Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, like being able to be a star next to a star is very impressive. It would have been great to see him in the college football playoffs. Would have been, because if you're that great, you want to see that kind of impact on the team. But I will say on both sides of the ball, he looks equally as talented and is to be as respected on both sides of the ball more than anything else. The mental and physical toughness. People don't realize how much it takes to play that many plays. The soreness, the mental capacity that you have to have, just the sheer toughness and capacity that your physical body has to have, the attributes have to be there. I think he earned it, bro. Like I watched him a few games, catch that ball coming through the middle as a receiver and taking hits to where I'm like, okay, he's really playing receiver. He's really playing DB. Like
he really ain't that big, is he?
Right. It's more heart. Like
yeah.
But
that's want to.
And not to go all dog fighting, not to talk about our dog, right? But it ain't never the big pretty dogs in the fight. It's the small little scrappy ones, like the little ones. It ain't the big pretty ones that you have in your house. It's them junkyard dog like to where, yeah, he's very scrappy for his size and stature. He's always more physical than his opponent, right? But he's also a supreme
athlete too.
Let's talk about these other candidates too, right? Ashton Jenkins, right? Probably going to break Barry's record before the college football playoffs is over. Hopefully it's in the first game, because anything after that would be unfair. Like Barry didn't get that many games, right?
Yeah.
But he may break Barry Sanders' rushing record, which is dope. Dylan Gabriel lit it up at Oregon this year. They're obviously the best team in the country this year, undefeated. Like I think that's important. Like, okay, if you're a great player, your team should somewhat reflect that too. Cam Ward, bro. If they had any type of defense, I won't say any type because if they had a defense that matched the energy of their offense this year, we'd definitely be talking about, not only him as the Heisman, but maybe them in the football playoff being one of the better teams in the college football playoff. Man, I hate that they weren't able to close things out as clean. And then I don't know if you watched Cam Scatterbo at Arizona State this year.
The running back, number 4.
There's a few guys out there who thought they were the Heisman this year with the way they played. Like they played with some Heisman confidence. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I don't want this to be taken wrong by anybody. But when I see Bo Scatterbo, that's his name, Bo Scatterbo. When I see him run the ball, it reminds me of Stone Cold Steve Austin from the movie. What's the name of the movie? With Adam Sandler. Yeah. And he got the ball. He was like, "That's how a white man run the football." He get bro,
the longest yard.
The longest yard. Like he gives me like Peyton
sure,
Hillis,
For sure.
Mike
I like that.
Allstott. Yeah, like it's just, but it's like he runs with a fury, bro. Like that to me was the most impressive part of his game. Like he ain't gonna blow you away with his speed and nothing, even though he ain't slow. He got some wheels and he got some skill, to be honest with you. Like he's just a tough ass running back, bro. And like I watched him play in their conference championship game or whatever, bro. And he was a man amongst boys. So that man, shout out to him, bro. Like that man, put some respect on his name. He's a problem.
And then right, Shador had, one first place vote, 7 second place votes, and 30 third place votes to where, maybe he wasn't the Heisman this year, but man, he had a big impact on Travis winning the Heisman this year. Shoot, he threw that ball. He threw that ball this year, bro.
Shedeur Sanders doesn't get the credit that he deserves for Travis Hunter's success. Like he really does, and like I think one of his most underrated qualities is his mind as a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is an NFL quarterback playing college football right now. Like that is what I could tell. Like he's poised, like he's like quick, and he adjusts to like what defenses are doing. You can see him doing it in real time. And so, like, that's the most impressive part of this game. I agree that maybe they didn't win enough. Maybe it's because he had Travis Hunter on the roster or whatever. Maybe people hate him because he's a Nepo baby or whatever. But, like, he deserves to be in the conversation with the best players in the country because he is absolutely that. And I think the NFL is not going to use kind of like these narratives to dissuade them from taking him like where he deserves to be taken.
I think what I was most impressed by, there's times this year where he demanded more out of Travis, and he was able to get it out of him. Like to where I don't know if other guys would have been able to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Command that level of respect from Travis.
Yeah, galvanize the troops, right? To where,
yeah.
You're able to get is that LeBron effect to where when LeBron passes you the ball, you're going to make that shot because it just came from LeBron, Yeah, I like that.
I'm reminded of one play when they were having like a back and forth on there, and Shedeur just told him like, just catch the ball.
Yeah.
like I don't want to hear all of your excuses. Catch the ball.
Catch it.
And when he went out there, he caught the damn ball. Like, shout out to Shedeur.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So, man, I definitely want to give Travis his flowers, man. And, a Florida boy by way of Georgia kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, I heard he from like Palm Beach.
Who? Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. He from South Florida.
Yeah, we do our homework, but I'm almost positive. And I ain't even got to look. He got some Florida water.
No. He definitely from Florida. Yeah. He got in trouble down here, so they moved him up there to Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. That's real. That's real. Yeah. That's Florida born.
Yeah.
They're low key a Florida boy too. Now.
Okay. For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take it up to the top level, man. So there's a lot of moving and shaking going on right now in the league. It's December, so guys are jockeying for these playoff spots. And then teams are also making the moves that let people know where they're at too, right? Yeah. Like we got Kirk Cousins being benched and probably going to be let go soon by the Falcons and replaced by Michael Penix. Like, was the writing not on the wall? Like, did you feel like they were? This was draft protection and insurance on Kirk Cousins' big contract?
So, no. Like, I thought that Michael Penix was legit going to have to sit out this whole year. Like, you just paid Kirk Cousins. You just paid him. So, I did not foresee a situation where they would switch quarterbacks midstream, especially when, maybe it's a long shot, but they have a shot at making the playoffs right now. Like, so the switch quarterback midstream.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like, the switch quarterback midstream is tough for me. Like, I don't know exactly how I feel about the move. Like, I didn't like the Penix pick at all. Like, I thought that, he would have been available later on. Like, I didn't think he was an older quarterback, but maybe that's what's giving him,
Right. You said
more
like
confidence in.
it was maybe 180 million other things that they could have done.
Yeah, like you had several different things that you could have did outside of like drafting him. Like, but you did, and now I guess it's going to give you an opportunity to see what your future looks like in Atlanta. But I don't like the idea of benching a guy like Kirk Cousins. And just to say it flatly, like he has not been performing these past few weeks. Like there's a reason why they're benching him. He's been horrible. Like you know what I mean. And I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who has not played at the professional level, just an observer. Kirk Cousins has not been. Shit. Yeah, he has not been good even by his own standards. Like there was a floor that you don't expect to go below with Kirk Cousins. He has plummeted through that floor. So he opened the door for this kid to get an opportunity. And so I don't want to poo-poo the idea of Michael Penix getting his opportunity. Shout out to you for working hard enough to have your team believe in you for this opportunity. But I personally don't agree with because I think Kirk Cousins is going to get back to a level and that's better than kind of like the unknown.
And although Kirk is a pro, he's still a human. Like in the sense of, although y'all done paid me, it's like I can hear this guy behind me. Like, you know, I'm throwing and I can see this guy behind me and he got this do-rag on and it's scaring me.
And he throwing with his left hand. What's going on here, baby? Last time Atlanta had a black lefty, it wasn't good for the white man in front of him.
It is like at a certain point, it has to affect you at some point when they draft a guy who can play in Atlanta, like, you know, with a do-rag on behind you, like, shit. Like, that's not a good recipe for that recipe doesn't spew confidence all over the chart.
They used a top 10 pick to get him, JT.
Right.
So you knew he was in line to play when they got him. But again, I thought that I didn't understand the move when they made it in the draft, but why pay Kirk Cousins all that money to come over? But also, Kirk Cousins should be the last person complaining. Kirk Cousins has gotten more money than I've ever thought any man of his caliber would get, and guaranteed money too, fully guaranteed money.
Kirk said, "What do you want me to give it back?"
No, sorry, Bob, and he shouldn't. If they paid you, that means you earned it, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this Atlanta thing. I will be tuned in. I can tell you that. I will be looking to see because this could be the start of the new era with him, Bijan Robinson, Drake London.
I will say there is something about the kid though, right?
He got aura. That's what the children say these days, JT. He got aura.
Yeah. The ball does fly off his hand and he does find a way to win. He's a winner.
I mean, let's not forget, he had Washington humming when he was there.
The national championship.
He had Washington humming while he was at that university. So I don't doubt that he can play at this level, but I just think he always felt like somebody who needed a little bit more seasoning before you just threw him out there, and maybe a half a season or this much of the season is enough for Atlanta. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be wishing him luck, and I'll be checking him out this weekend. We'll see how he performs this weekend. We're gonna move the ball around a little bit, literally, in the sense of look, you couldn't wait. You couldn't to where you say we're in your domain now. Right? So they were talking about, man, that there's a 30% drop in the ratings right now, right?
Yeah.
I could think of a few different things that it could be, right? You know, maybe it's because they're trying to force feed us a year 21 Bron, right? Or year 17 KD, right? It could be some of that, right? It could be some of all these little gadgets that they put in the season, you know, and these in-season tournaments,
yeah.
Maybe these things are, or it could be this, bro. or it can be because I think that we've set like a league record in 3-pointers, like this, like everybody, everybody jacking threes. Don't nobody want to watch like layups and threes, dunks and threes, right? To where I think some of the art from the game is kind of. What do you think it is, Roy? What's going on with the NBA today?
Yeah, I think you encapsulated most of the problems like almost perfectly. I think Kobe Bryant called it accidental basketball to the point where all it is people driving to the rim and kicking it out when they can't do it. So it's like, I'm going to drive to the rim. If I can't get a layup, I'm going to kick it out to somebody at a 3-point line. If they're open, they shoot it. If they're not, they drive to the rim. And if it's not there, they kick it out to the 3-point line. And it is a function of like, everybody says this, like every league is a copycat league. It is a function of the copying going a bit too far to the point where the NBA might have to change the game in order to like limit what's happening. Like it's tough to name it specifically what it is, but yes, I do believe like the game's gotten boring to watch because everybody's jacking up threes and or trying to make a layup. Like they've taken out the skill of like the mid range, and it's like I hate to say this because I'm technically a nerd, but nerds run basketball now. It's all about analytics now, as opposed to like talent. Like let talent be talent. You know what I mean?
To where they're now saying that the long two is the worst shot in basketball. Like as far as statistics go, like a long 2-pointer is much worse than taking a 3-pointer kind of thing.
JT, generally, like a lot of people regard Michael Jordan as the greatest basketball player of all time. Do you know what shot he specialized at? The mid-range jump shot.
Yeah.
And they hate that shot in NBA analytics. And so it's been taken away. But another part of it, the one that I was alluding to earlier, is that the NBA has somehow found a way to replace college basketball with international basketball. Like you see the NBA trying to expand to Europe now, and they've almost made college basketball an irrelevant product. So what's happening now is that when college basketball players are coming into the NBA, they are being introduced to a fan base. Like every player's new. I don't know who any of these kids are coming into the league. As opposed to back in the day where I watched Carmelo's run as a Syracuse basketball player. I watched Georgia Tech when Chris Bosh was there. Like I watched Wake Forest when Chris Paul was there. I saw JJ Redick at Duke. And I knew who he was and what he did by the time he got to the NBA. They have taken that away and marginalized the college basketball game to the point where now American-born players are lesser known than some of these European players. And nobody don't want that.
Nice. You could put a little Christmas bowl on that. That's nice.
You feel me? Like nobody wants that product, bro. Like you trying to market this game, you making this a global game, and sure, it is. Some of our best talent in the league today is from other places. But this is an American league, yes. Like
for sure.
Where are the American stars? And I think you hit another nail on the head. It's like they no longer know how to market stars, JT. They are beholden to LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. They have not marketed any of the young talent. Now, where is all the Anthony Edwards stuff? Where is the John Morant? Like John Morant is too controversial, so you don't market him.
The Zions of the world.
Zion Williamson has not lived. He can't stop eating in New Orleans, so they can't market him. Like you can't market Jokic, your best player, because he don't want it.
He don't care.
He don't care. Yeah. Like you have no player that you can build this thing around that you like.
Yeah, like a Greek freak is an international guy.
He is, and you could give it to him, but they hate Giannis.
He's pretty much the face of like they don't love for him to be the. They don't love him as much as Bron, but he's the next most impactful player.
Jokic, like but see, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to. This league is about stars. Like
another one. That's another international guy.
Yeah, and Wemby, like all of your next great hopes Like your best players in your league are Jokic, Giannis, Luka. Like these are the best players in your league, and it's not the like. I don't want people to think that I'm being xenophobic here. Like I appreciate good basketball no matter where it comes from. But the problem with the league is that they don't have enough American-born stars that are being marketed. Why? Because those players are found in college basketball, and you don't care for college basketball. So you go scout overseas, and you find all these hidden gems or whatever. And I mean, shout out to the NBA. They've globalized the game, but at the same time, like most of your ratings come from America, and you are losing that. You're losing that audience very quickly. And also football zone right now too, JT. Like nobody cares about basketball and football.
And I'll say this: we are transitioning. Like when those last 3 or 4 horsemen go, like we will be full-fledged, like LaMelo Ball, like that's definitely the end of an era in a way that basketball. To where I think Kyrie is the last one. To where he's the youngest of that era. To where
the last one that we got left from that era of basketball, Kyrie, Russ, but they all like 34, 35.
That's
you know what I mean? You got 3-4 more years of that, but even still, like none of them have the gravitas of LeBron.
What you're gonna have to do for one, you're gonna have to get more from the Jimmy Butlers of the world.
Jimmy Butler 35.
Fuck.
Jimmy Butler 35.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's happening fast.
Yeah. You start to think about it like, damn, Jimmy Butler. This
is why we're seeing a dip, though, bro. Like
because the next crop of great young players is people like Ant Edwards. It's supposed to be people like LaMelo Ball. Because there's like a gap in a generation there. Like, so you got people like, or you got Jason Tatum, you know, but there's a gap of like contemporaries for Jason Tatum. That was Markelle Fultz and them guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons was supposed to be the gap after LeBron James. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these guys were supposed to be the next crop of stars that carried the league. They failed miserably at it. And so now you're investing, or you hope that you find, like, but you got Ant Edwards, you got LaMelo Ball, you got Ja Morant, you got Zion Williamson. You don't want to market any one of them. You don't want any of those to be the face of your league. So who is it? Like, who is the face of the league after those 3 guys retire?
Right. No, for sure, bro.
I think what happened is like LeBron James played basketball too long.
To where we're kind of trapped in like this vicious cycle. Like, you know,
the Olympics
was tired of it. He goes to another team. Like, you
know, the Olympics was the worst thing to happen to the NBA. Because we realized on a national stage that we are only the best basketball brand in the world as long as LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant are on the team.
Right.
There was like Anthony Edwards. You want him to be the guy, but when the rubber hit the road, hey Jit, get over there right fast. We need them horses, and they're still the best basketball players in the world. That's the problem. By the time Michael Jordan was 35, there was already a Kobe Bryant. It was already, you know what I mean? LeBron James is 40. Where's the next one?
For sure. Okay. So we're going to have to talk a little ball a little bit more. Now, you know me, I'm an old basketball head myself now.
Come on,
so and you just got to – that's the first time I done got you to sit that far up in your chair. I'm also recognizing that too now.
Tendency, hey, bro. Football is my favorite sport, but basketball is the content that I create. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, it's like I have to like, I talk about these things all the time in a sense, and I understand this is like basketball is in a dangerous spot right now. Like it's in a dangerous spot. It can fall into like baseball level territories in terms of popularity. like for real, bro. For real. Like the NBA needs solutions, and you talked about it. Like they're going with gimmicks. Last year you threw in an in-season tournament to try and spice stuff up, giving people $500,000 each. What incentive is that for the fans? Did you watch the championship game? Did anybody watch Milwaukee play OKC? No, because they didn't know it was happening.
Right.
It was in Vegas. Like the crowd wasn't into it because neither of their own, like Vegas doesn't have a basketball team.
Right.
And now you got the All-Star game. The All-Star game has been the All-Star weekend has been in shambles for years. And now you introducing something else. You want 4 teams to be All-Star.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Brother, it's a book on what the new All-Star format is, and it is insane.
Okay, well, what we'll do is like, let's end this thing, right, bro, with a hot take, like always, right, man? Like we'll leave some meat on the bone for the NBA. We'll have a bone to pick with them in the future.
Yeah.
But before we wrap this thing up, we always try to end with a hot take. Something that may or may not age well. But it's just, hey, that ain't what it's about, right? This is the one that comes right to your mind. Like for me, it's I'll quote the words of a great leader. I know his name is Richard Rodriguez. You can win a national championship at West Virginia. You can win a national championship at West Virginia. Those are the words that was spoke from the podium of the WVU Coliseum this past week. So, maybe it's a little truer than it is hot, but I just had to get that off my chest. You feel me?
What's the timeline for that? I'm sorry, I got to ask some follow-up.
Let's say within the next 3 years. Say within the next 3 years. But
Deion still at Colorado?
I'll say it just like he said it. You can win a national championship at West Virginia. Because sometimes you just have to, for the fans, the players, especially with the playoff system now, you can win and you can go anywhere and have enough influence to win a national championship. I think it's truer now than it ever was.
I know a man. I know it's going to be hard to convince a man who was within one game of a national championship at the University of West Virginia that you can't win a championship. So I won't even try. I will let your hot take stand, brother. I will let it be what it is. My hot take is that despite all the rumblings surrounding Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat will not trade him this year, and during the summer he will leave this franchise for nothing.
Well, he had some pink or some orange hair going on. I thought that was like
a signal. He was wearing KDs in that same game. Like he still got the orange hair. He was wearing KDs. That's the colors of Phoenix, right? Check this out, JT. A few weeks ago, he had blue hair. That was the color of the Dallas Mavericks when they were talking about them. Check this out, JT. A couple weeks before that, he had red hair, which is the same color as the Houston Rockets, who were also in that same report.
Okay, so he's playing. Okay, so he's playing games.
He's playing in my face, JT. That's what he's doing, and I don't like that. I'm from Pompano. We don't play like that, right?
Okay, so you say he's gonna stay this year, and then he's gonna leave for nothing next year?
He has a player option for $52 million at the end of the season. He's going to decline that option and sign with another team, which means Miami will get no compensation for him.
And what's happening is, right, I think he's going up against the wrong organization. Like, Pat don't play, bro. Pat Riley don't play, bro.
We will have an entire episode dedicated to me debunking that myth that Pat Riley is this Godfather-esque figure. He is not. He is washed. He's cooked.
Okay, you think it's over?
It's over. I think we have a senile old man in the front office right now.
Okay, but I just say this, though, right? He is crazy enough to let a star go for nothing.
That's bad business. That's bad business right now.
I get what you mean. That's what I'm just saying. Like, I think as hard-headed as Jimmy is, like, he's up against a front office who don't care as much about what they have to lose because they've actually won some things before. Like,
I agree with you 100%, and I think that is a ridiculous stance to have as an organization.
Yeah. It's not conducive to winning. It becomes more of an ego thing,
and that's how Wade left.
It is.
That's how Wade left. That's why Bron left.
Yeah. But you still got, I think he does. I was about to say, you still got UD.
He not on the roster no more, but he was at practice today.
I keep thinking I'm gonna look at the end of that bench and see him in a wheelchair on the internet.
Bro,
I keep thinking I'm gonna look up.
Just look at practice footage. He wears a jersey in practice still to this day.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Come on, bro. It's like Jerry Rice going out there suiting up for the practice squad. Why? You've proven your basketball. We gonna end the show. We can do this all night.
The OGUD. Yeah, but it's all good, man. Other than that, man, like, I'm glad we got a chance to do what we do tonight, man. I always appreciate everyone for joining us, man. Shout out to our biggest sponsor, Basement Sports Network, for making this thing happen for us. And just continue to roll with us, man. Stay on this journey with us. Give us some feedback. Let us know what y'all like, what y'all don't. Not that we gonna care as much, but we would love to hear what you think, And then outside of that, man, just man, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Stay ready and see y'all soon.